As far as living in central Newfoundland goes, well, it's the most beautiful part of the province. It's got the best weather. If you're at all interested in any outdoor activities, this is the place for you. Some of the best hunting and fishing in Newfoundland. And it's a small community that has a sense of itself.
My wife and 2 children have settled in nicely into Grand Falls. My wife's a math teacher. She's working in Badger. And the 2 girls have moved in. They've become active members of the YMCA. They've got friends in the neighborhood. There's always something to do.
Well, there's a fairly extensive organization, or a fairly extensive amount of organized sports. There are hockey leagues, there are softball leagues, there are soccer leagues. There's baby Mozart musicals for children to get involved in. There's a dance school, there's ballet. There's a lot of different things for families. More services than you'd actually expect in a town this size.
That go on in the community are sort of based mainly on sporting activities in the summer, and then there's camp groups, and we have a large festival that takes place here in July, and that generally brings the community together as well. So there's a very dynamic sense of who you are, where you're from, what you belong to, and it's a very, very rich heritage to tap into.
When it comes to doing things after hours, we're central. We have probably the best weather in the province. We have nice warm summers, nice cold winters for the avid snowmobilers or the avid fishermen, hunters. As well, the community is a good size, great place to raise a family. Why I came back here was simple. I like to hunt, I like to fish, I like to snowmobile. Central Newfoundland has all that to offer. Everything is very congenial. It's just a great place to work and live.
My wife and my 2 daughters, my 3-year-old and 8-month-old, are integrating very well into this community. They have lots of fun. They have friends both within hospital and outside. They sometimes have to keep very busy social schedule. We are also particularly blessed with our neighbors. They are very good, and we all relate together like one big family. And this particularly makes it easier for me to concentrate at work, knowing full well that my family is amongst friends. It's an environment that is peaceful. It has an atmosphere of tranquility. It's a place where you can bring up a young family in a very nice and safe environment.
Coming to Newfoundland because of a friend of mine who'd been out here and had given me some kind of contacts and said it was a good place to come for people from Ireland. It was a bit like Ireland in many ways. So I originally came intending to spend a couple of years and then go back to Ireland. There's pretty well access to all of the facilities, sporting facilities that kids like, you know, like swimming pools, soccer, hockey, all of that type of thing. At the same time, the schools are there nearby. One of the huge advantages in a place like Stephenville is that you're never too far away from anywhere. But you can look at the natural beauty of the area. You can look at the outdoor activities that people have kind of almost instant access to. We have in Stephenville a world-class cross-country ski course, Marble Mountain, which is just about an hour away. There's a first-class downhill ski resort really now. There's golfing. So apart from the winter-type activities, the skidooing and the hunting and the skiing, then the summertime you have all kinds of outdoors activities as well. And I'm an avid golfer myself, and we have a first-class 18-hole golf course here. I often tell people, and they're amazed when I tell them, that I can leave my office at the end of the working day, and in the summertime I tend to try and finish a little earlier. But I can leave my office and be on the first tee at the golf course in 5 minutes. That's just unheard of in most settings, and to me it's idyllic, because I can have a full working day and still get a game of golf in. But you know, there's all kinds of stuff, salmon fishing, you name it. So people come for all kinds of reasons, for the variety, for the peace of a non-city setting. You know, you don't hear the constant noise.
So in terms of, you know, the skiing and the skidooing, and in the summer, you know, we kayak, we camp, and there's, you know, you have to embrace the outside, and there's tons to do, and it's actually lots of fun if you embrace it and enjoy it, as opposed to wait for that season to end.
Here in Norris Point's quite rural. I was a bit nervous. I come from a small town, or a small village actually in Quebec, but I'd lived in cities for about 10 years, and so country life isn't for everybody. And I can imagine somebody coming from a city of 10 or 20 million people finding it really isolated. For myself, it was fantastic, and that ability to just come for a month, see how it is, and then stay, it was great. Compared to physicians, our hours are a lot shorter, and we get to really enjoy our time off, and there's just so much to enjoy. We bought a little sailboat and going around the bay, but then climbing the mountains, and in the winter, the snowshoeing and the cross-country skiing and the downhill and the telemark and all of that, it's fantastic.
When you're coming into a strange community, you have no idea of really what the community has to offer, except from where you're staying and going to the hospital. Well, I want to give them all the different things that we do have to offer. Take them to the sports complex, take them to our Grand Bay West Beach, a place where they can go and walk and relax and gather their thoughts. Another idea is take them to where our newest subdivisions are in our community and show them where people are buying and building homes.
I did have help from the health board with my move from Twillingate to Grand Falls. They helped us with moving, they helped us settle in, they made sure I had a good office space to work in, and made sure things fit for a professional perspective. They were handy to have.
The community really welcomes the newcomers, and they are very friendly. They come to you and approach to you. They're really looking forward to help you in all respects.
We're very lucky in that Twillingate has a very rich historical base. This is a community that is at the end of the road. A number of families who live here can trace their roots back many hundreds of years. And so the community over the years has evolved with a very, very strong sense of culture, history, tradition, and spirituality.
In particular was my experience during the recruiting process when I first started to make inquiries regarding this position. I was particularly impressed by the friendly disposition of the people that were involved, and this made me realize the welcoming and friendly environment that I planned to work in. And this further gave me more encouragement to want to work in this province.
When I came here first, I guess, the year where everything was ready for me, my apartment was ready, keys and everything, they had a box of food to get us started.
Things like, I don't know, painting, music, running, and people just welcome you into their homes, and you get to know a lot of people around at a more personal level.
The best place in Canada, because I've been in Toronto, I've heard about other provinces. This place is very, very special. It's a unique place. People are very welcoming, they're very accepting. You will feel the warmth of home when you come here.
And not only that, but the people in the town. I can remember having a tour of the town on one of my first days here, and that was really nice as well. And since then, the people here have just been going out of their way ready to make sure we're involved, make sure we're enjoying ourselves. We've been involved in curling bonspiels and sporting events and any sort of socials that are going on. We always get invited and always feel very welcomed.
I think it's a very safe place to actually raise a family. People don't lock their doors, they don't lock their cars. That's not to say that it's some utopian Shangri-La, and it doesn't have any problems in terms of, petty crime and the other types of things that you find in smaller communities. But by comparison, I think that it's probably one of the safest communities in Canada.
The quietness and serenity of this place seems unreal. You feel like it's this unreal utopia, I mean, you see people walking around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Children are safe to run around, and I know some people don't even lock the doors. They say, if I'm not in, the door is open, just come in.
It's a beautiful place to live, lots of good outdoor things to do, safe place, nice, wonderful people. That's the best part of Newfoundland. It's a beautiful place in the world, I think.
So there is that real sense of community, and you feel so safe. You know, if you let your kid a block away on your bicycle or whatnot. So that's definitely a draw. And I saw that originally as the big advantage. I think that's well documented. That's a very safe and healthy place to raise your children. The other things, the social and the recreational, I didn't really know they would be so available to me here.
The clinical experience that I've had has consisted of assuming care of a very busy practice from a retired physician, as well as caring for hospital inpatients, delivering babies, doing palliative care, getting in the occasional house call, operative assists, as well as part-time work in the emergency department.
And there's always continuing medical education on the go all the time. That's very good, and there's plenty of opportunities to do ATLS, ACLS, all the advanced life support courses.
Rural Newfoundland it's got a unique list of challenges for a family physician. You do more things. You spend an awful lot of time in medical school, you know, getting skills you need to work, and rural Newfoundland gives you a chance to use those skills. I mean, you spend more time doing urgent care, you spend more time seeing a wider variety of things. Things as a family doctor in a larger centre may not see, something that, you know, that would be, you know, the purview of the specialist. But you get to have a more active role.
I believe we're fortunate here to have a kind of a very comprehensive medical practice, and we're fortunate that we work in a team setting. We also have very close links with Memorial University, and that sort of enhances our ability to see trainees at a variety of levels from very early on in their training right through to the tail end.
Great. As a GP coming out in a new practice, you have people you can call in. You can, you know, if you're up doing a delivery, if you're assisting in the OR, if you're on call in the emerge, you have a good supply of specialists who are all well qualified, well trained, and most have been here for quite a while. The fact that it's a varied practice. You're not just in your office 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, or do some call, you can deliver babies, you can assist in the OR, and it's a variety. And you're doing things that you were trained to do.
As the place grows on you to some extent, you start putting roots down.
The medicine is very interesting. It's comprehensive. It includes a broad array of medical conditions, the fact that you have a base to work out of, the fact that it's kind of comprehensive care in a team setting, with nurse practitioners, allied health professionals, very experienced nurses. And then we're very fortunate to have these rich links to Memorial University and the ability to kind of train not only medical students, but now to be involved in interprofessional teaching with nurse practitioner trainees, social workers, nursing students, and more recently, pharmacy students.
Although medicine is medicine everywhere, you see a different spectrum of diseases in the different countries. I'd say in South Africa I saw more infectious diseases, and here in Canada I'm seeing more heart attacks and things like that. I've been in emergency for 4 years, and I must say that it's built on my confidence in terms of emergency medicine.
A different type of medical practice in Newfoundland than I would have had, or any physician of my kind of background and training would have had in Ireland. In the Canadian rural setting in particular, physicians have a much broader scope of practice than they would in an urban setting in Europe. So it would have been very much an office-based practice there, whereas here it was hospital-based, office-based, obstetrics, internal medicine. You were into emergency room. It was a much kind of more, let's say, exciting type of medical practice. So it was part of our location here is very suitable to meet a lot of the goals that people have and a lot of their family situations. It doesn't suit everybody. For those who haven't experienced it, that practicing in a rural setting would be more difficult. But in fact, we do have access fairly readily to the vast majority of the kind of sophisticated diagnostic tools. The specialist access for us here is reasonably good. At our own site on location, we have internal medicine specialists, surgeons, ophthalmologists, psychiatrists, obstetrics, gynecology. So that's pretty well the kind of the full spectrum of the primary care of the primary specialists. And in Cornerbrook, which is just 45 minutes drive away, we have access to the kind of second tier specialty services, orthopedics, ENT, urology, neurology, etc.
With rural medicine, you can be in your clinic, you can be covering emerge, delivering babies, you can have inpatients and outpatients, and you can make that how you want it. And even if one part of the province didn't offer all the services, there's certainly another part that does. And it offers a very challenging atmosphere, yet the backup to the bigger centres that allows you to practice it the way you want to.
To be honest, I didn't know anything about Newfoundland and Labrador. All I wanted to do was to come and work in Canada, and Carbonear here in Newfoundland was the first place where they got me a job, and I came here. I've been in practice since March of 2002, so it's going into my 7th year.
I think it was quite interesting for my partner to come here from the UK, where their GPs really do a lot more clinic-based work, and here in Canada, but Newfoundland in particular, you do everything, and we get to admit our own patients and take care of our own and then discharge them ourselves, and so the continuity of care is really perfect.
When I arrived in Twillingate and I was able to kind of settle into this type of comprehensive primary care, I was very, very attracted to both the community as well as the type of medicine that I could practice here.
I went through the CSAT program, and I was in training for 4 months all over the island. Well, I worked in Carbonear, Clarenville, Bayward and Cornerbrook. And after that, I saw a variety of patients, a variety of cases, and that really prepared me to start my own practice.
Primary health care is basically, and I suppose at its roots, really focuses on making sure people have access to the right services when and where they need them. It also has a very community development approach, so we make sure that communities, who are at the heart of anything we do, have an opportunity to voice their challenges and strengths related to health. And it also, again, has a look at team development. So we've been working on doing some team building around, especially around diabetes, and making sure the providers have an opportunity to work as teams. But I think the biggest thing about primary health care that we always try to espouse is that it's based on a big picture of health. So instead of just looking at health services and physical health all the time, we look at health as being emotional health, physical, spiritual, and we really try to get that out into all of the work that we do.
I think the biggest strength that we have is that we've really got a critical mass of young, dynamic physicians who are committed to the community for the long haul. We're interested in innovating, and we've got the support of the board in a number of the innovations that we're pursuing. So it's dynamic, it's young, and it's vital.
Great place to start as a physician, because you have all the backup supplies that you need. You have all the physicians, all the resources, right? Pretty good relationships with everybody. It's just a good spot to work. I would definitely say this is the place to be. Because of the way the general practice population gets aligned, because of the solid base of general practitioners who have been here for such a long time, and you build on that, you attract your specialists, you have a good referral base. Patients are great. That's something a lot of people tend to forget, you know. The people who you take care of are great to deal with. When you have the facilities and you have the wherewithal, it just becomes a good place to work.
So over the years, medicine has become more complex. Even in rural settings, you have access to fairly sophisticated diagnostic tools. We've just had a CAT scanner installed in our hospital last month, and 10 years ago to think of us having a CAT scanner would have been kind of, people would think you were crazy. But, times change, attitudes change, and a CAT scanner is a basic tool these days, and so we have one. And that has already made a huge difference in our ability to look after cases. People are attracted, I think, to the West Coast in particular because of the natural beauty of the West Coast, because of the facilities that are available. I mean, the medical facilities themselves are first class. This is a state-of-the-art hospital. And throughout the West Coast, there are smaller hospitals scattered. I think there are 6 altogether, and they're all modern hospitals.
There's a good sense of community here at the hospital for people who want to work here. There is an excellent relationship among the staff, nursing staff, physicians, specialists, family docs. Everybody sees eye to eye to get the job done. It's a fantastic working relationship.
And it's a very interesting way this group melds and mingles. We have physicians from all over the world. We all just seem to get along so well.
We've probably got the largest group of family physicians interested in obstetrics in the province here in Grand Falls.
The involvement with the medical school is what brought me here in the first place, and it's again one of the things that have kept me here, because I'm certainly interested in teaching others and with medical students and residents, and I don't think I'd go to a spot that didn't have that available. So I see that as a big recruitment point, and it's a great opportunity to stay fresh on your own skills, having people challenge you all the time.
Certainly, interest in training medical students, residents, and actually other healthcare professionals is almost, an interest in that is almost a necessity to work here. So not only is there an opportunity to do it, you almost must have a love for it, because it's going to be part of your job if you come to work here.
It's one of the few places in Canada where you'll find family doctors still doing OR assists, working in the emergency rooms, delivering babies, caring for our hospital inpatients, as well as actually working in their clinics. So it's really got the diverse practice model that's going to keep somebody interested for a career.
Now, I must comment about the CME program, which is very excellent here. I've worked in so many countries, and we've got a regular CME program in the hospital, and we are also having e-presence from St. John's, which is the capital of Newfoundland. In addition, we've got regular visitors coming up every time, and we never miss any academic benefits.
Excellent. And again, it started my first year when I came here with interdisciplinary work. I work with the physicians, but I also spent time with the physio and the OT and the recreational therapist, speech language pathologist. And it's been really nice to see how that can work in a smaller center. We often lose that in the bigger centers, and it becomes a much more labor-intensive process to get other people involved. But in a smaller center, it just flows so naturally, and your patient that you see in the clinic can be seen with you and a dietitian, or you can blend it in, and your inpatients often get managed with the whole team, and it works really, really well. And it's a good place for, again, learners to see the interprofessional work coming together so easily.
So we work in that type of setting, and we mix it all up. We have, I encourage the pharmacy student to come to my clinic. My medical students go with the nurse practitioners to the satellite clinics.